There have been an unimaginable amount of drastic events in 2b2t. Some defined it, some ruined it. But one rivalry was unmatched. A rivalry that caused the entire server to shake. A rivalry in which thousands of players were directly involved. A war so big that it is remembered till today. So sit back as you enjoy the story of 2b2t's Rusher War. It all starts in 2016, when 2b2t was already in full chaos. The server was at the peak of destruction, hacking and exploits, when a player called TheCampingRusher joins 2b2t. Rusher was a very big YouTuber at that time, and uploaded the video where he explores 2b2t for the first time. At that time, 2b2t was not that popular, and hardly were there any big YouTubers popularizing 2b2t. So Rusher's video showcasing a server like 2b2t blew up and got over 750,000 views in a week. Now imagine if even 1% of them joined 2b2t, it would be 7,500 players, where the max players at that time were 250. What do you imagine would happen? Thousands of players started playing on 2b2t. It went from 20 people at a time to 250 people at a time, which was the max. Housemaster, the server owner, had to shift the server to a new hardware to handle this much load. And this was the beginning of the conflict. You see, this much load on the server was highly damaging it. And old players knew that if they didn't do anything, one day their server will be in ruins. So they came out and formed an alliance called the Veterans, who were ready to do anything to defend their server from the new players, who are called Rushers. They wanted new players to leave 2b2t. But server wasn't actually able to handle this much load. So Housemaster came up with the queue system, which barricaded both veterans and rushers to join the server. So Camping Rusher reached out to Housemaster and came up with a new plan called the veteran queue. Because the majority of the players were rushers, the player who had once logged before Rusher's video, that means veterans, got the advantage in this queue. This plan backfired at Rusher, and it took the power of numbers from Rusher army's hand. Housemaster also introduced the priority queue, and the revenue generated from this was invested in better hardware, and server finally became stable. Although the server was stable, the rivalry was heating up. The leadership of Team Veteran was taken by FitMC, another prominent 2b2t YouTuber. He attacked the Rusher base and killed 40 people there, and the war was officially declared by Camping Rusher.
We're gonna have to band together here, and it's gonna be an all-out war, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be absolutely crazy.
Rushers no doubt had the numbers, but veterans had much more better gear and coordination than rushers. The veterans played their next move and declared an incursion, the fourth in the history of server. Incursion means holding spawn for a period of time so players can't join. They attempted building a 500 by 500 lava wall, but rushers fought back and the plan was unsuccessful. But one change in the game flipped the things. You see, before 1.9, protection was very powerful, and it was near impossible to kill a player with protection 4, which was only limited to veterans at that time, which gave them a big advantage. But after 1.9, protection was nerfed, so their advantage was gone. Also, the introduction of explosives like bed and crystals changed everything. Players could one-shot anyone, so it's safe to say Rushers had the upper hand, because veterans' gear power was no longer affecting them. This caused the most respected place of 2b2t, even respected by Pop Bob, the Valley of Weed, to be destroyed. A new group called Resistance was formed against the veterans. However, veterans were one step ahead, and they sent a spy to Resistance camp. The codes were leaked and Resistance was torn apart by the veterans. Both sides knew no one benefited like this, so the leaders agreed to face each other in a 1v1 on 5th August 2016 to end it all. After long fighting, Fit emerged as the winner. Everyone thought it was over, but it wasn't yet. Weeks later, the final war had begun, one that is remembered till today, the true Rusher War. The Resistance, Veterans and Rushers all met in one final battle. However, Resistance flipped sides in halfway and joined hands with Veterans, giving an end to the Rushers. It is estimated veterans killed around 10,000 Rushers in that war. Some people say it was a planning of Rusher and Fit to grow their channel through the conflict. And if it was true, it worked. Fit's channel skyrocketed. But that cannot be said with full truth. Rusher was not seen for weeks, and it's safe to say that veterans had won.
Bold enough to stand up against the Camping Rusher himself. That's when I figured I had to do something. But Sato was the one that convinced me to actually do it. To start the movement of Team Veteran. Before the war, I was just a normal 2b2t player. But over the course of the summer, I went from a nobody to the leader of Team Veteran, YouTube personality with thousands of fans all over the world. It still doesn't feel real.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing the channel to help a new creator like me. Until then, bye bye.